Well, greetings everybody. I'm back with Anti-Corruption Society, con number 2. Hang on, let me fix my camera. Okay, let me get me out of your way. Okay, con number 2. Oil is not fossil fuel. Okay, it is renewable. Nope. It's not dead dinosaurs, okay? Oil, when it comes right down to it, is Earth's blood. Okay, so by John Truman Wolfe. The immigration officer, if I can't pronounce these words, I'm just gonna, point it out to you, and you can sound it out. Okay, the immigration officer at Sheremetyevo took my passport and studied it for some time. He didn't say anything. He just stumbled through the passport and then looked at a computer screen for a couple of lifetimes before stamping it and grunting me on to customs. The KGB was still manning the borders the first time I went to Moscow shortly after the fall of communism. Letting Americans walk freely into Mother Russia without official surveillance was driving the man crazy, but he had to keep a lid on it. In fact, communism had been officially dead for only a few months when the shock troops of capitalism started storming in the gates of opportunity in the former Soviet Union. The ghosts of Marx, Lenin, Stalin stalked the halls of the Politburo in horror as entrepreneurs from the United States, Japan, and Western Europe tried to cut deals for every asset in Mother Russia that wasn't nailed down. Banking, hospitality, timber, and precious metals came under assault by peculiar partnerships of Western capitalists and thugs from the once mighty KGB. During those early years, when Yeltsin, God love him, and his vodka, they're known to drink vodka, okay? They have a good time over there. Alright? Okay. It was a free-for-all. Yeah, well, I still think they're operating under free-for-all. Our government, man, they are a free-for-all. They have no laws that they have to live by. And they can party and do whatever they want because they don't have to answer to anybody. Well, we'd like that to change, wouldn't we? The Oklahoma land rush of the 1890s had nothing on Moscow in 1992. Okay. But even then, the oil industry stayed under control of the state, directly or indirectly. In fact, as recently as 2003, the bare-chested former KGB colonel and corrupt premier, soon to be president of Russia, again, Vladimir Putin, squashed a buyout deal between Russia's Yukos and Exxon, the largest company in the world. Yeah, Exxon, the most destructive company in the world. One of them. Monsanto's one of them. I don't need to get off. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah. So, Exxon, BP oil, all those, poisoning the earth daily, killing one whale at a time, so forth. Anyways, I get off track, I know. To understand the reason for this, we will return momentarily to the early days of the Cold War, when the isolated Soviet Union tasked their top scientists to identify the actual source of oil. Not a weekend homework assignment. After considerable research in 1956, Russian scientist Professor Vladimir... Are they all named Vladimir? Okay, well, Vladimir Porfiev, that's the best I can do on that one, announced that crude oil and natural petroleum gas have no intrinsic connection with biological matter originating near the surface of Earth. So, everybody's been told that they're operating their vehicles on dead dinosaurs. Oh my God. Just sit here and look at how dumbfounded I look at my fellow humanity. How can any of you think you're driving your damn cars on dinosaurs? I mean, does that make any frickin' sense to any of you? Really? Think about it. What do fossils look like? We all know what fossils look like, and they don't come in the form of black goo. Lied to again, you guys. But yet, you're buying the bullshit. And if you want to keep buying the bullshit, then ta-ta. My channel is not for you. Alright? Because I don't buy bullshit, nor do I take bullshit. Okay, so after considerable research in 1956, this Russian professor, Vladimir Porfiev, announced that crude oil and natural petroleum gas have no intrinsic, see that word? It says no, intrinsic connection with biological matter originating near the Earth's surface. They are primordial, originating from the Earth's formation. Damn, you guys, look at this. I feel like I have to drill some of this shit into people's heads. Okay. Originating from... Boy, I don't know. It doesn't matter, but whatever. Enlarge the screen. Okay? Enlarge the damn screen. Okay? And listen. They are primordial. They are primordial, originating within the Earth's formation material, which have been erupted from great depths below the ocean floor. You know? Dinosaurs. Cut it out with the damn dinosaurs. Okay? There's no proof dinosaurs even frickin' existed. Yeah, you're getting the best of me today, aren't you? I just gotta get out and go to the gardens. Step away from this shit. So, if your eyeballs didn't fall out when you read that, then you might want to read it again. Okay? Pause here. Pause now if you want to read that. Okay. He said oil doesn't come from anything biological. Not as conventional wisdom dictates. From the fossilized remains of dinosaurs and other ancient plant matter. When we all know, we've seen what fossilized leaves look like. They're hard. They're hard. They're hard as rock. Okay, they're not gooey. Fuck. Sorry. I just get really pissed off when people are so ignorant. Alright? But stay in your ignorance. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is your downfall. It's your demise. Go ahead. Keep thinking you're running your cars on some dead dinosaurs that never existed to begin with. Okay, I'm calm now. Okay, it comes from very deep in the earth and is created by a biochemical reaction that subjected hydrocarbons, elements having carbon and hydrogen, to extreme heat and intense pressure during the Earth's formation. I'm going to read that again. Okay? Oil does not come from dead dinosaurs. Okay? That's not even logical. It comes from very deep in the earth and is created by biochemical reaction that subjected hydrocarbons, elements having carbon and hydrogen, to extreme heat and intense pressure during the Earth's formations. That's where you get your gooey shit you put in your cars. The black gooey shit? Yeah. In other words, it's Earth's blood. Okay? These people are draining Earth's blood. And you're wondering why the Schumann resonances are going up. You know? Earth's blood is being depleted because y'all want to ride your cars. And these guys want to run their factories. And, you know, people want to pollute this. People want to do that. They want to kill the planet. Jeez. Okay. Russians referred to this oil, any oil really, as abiotic oil because it's not created from the decomposition of biological life forms. God, I can't believe people even believe that shit. But rather from the chemical process continually occurring inside Earth. So there you go. It's a continual process. Earth will continually produce the oil to run your cars, the world. So when they're telling you, oh, we're having an oil shortage, no, that's bullshit. Okay? The government never tells the truth. Right? It says it right here. It's a chemical process continually occurring inside Earth. So, how can there be a depletion of that resource? It's impossible. It's called con number 2. See that? Con number 2. Okay. Yeah, my eyeballs are still falling out. Okay. I know, easy for a periphery to say. But it turns out it was more than just a theory. Because shortly after the Russians discovered this, they started drilling ultra-deep wells and finding oil at 30,000 and 40,000 feet below the Earth's surface. These are staggering depths, far below the depth at which organic matter can be found, which is 18,000 feet. You cannot find organic matter deeper than 18,000 feet. So, if they're finding this at 30,000 and 40,000 feet below the Earth's surface, and you guys want to still think it's dinosaurs, well, I'll pray for you. Interesting, huh? Right? Here. Organic matter can be found at the depth of 18,000 feet. Not 30,000, not 40,000. So, interesting. The Russians applied their theory of abiotic deep drilling technology. Oh good, here's some words I can't read again. To the Dnieper-Donny basin, an area understood for the previous half-century to be barren of oil. Of 60 wells drilled there using abiotic technology, 37 became commercially productive. It's not bad. A 62% success rate compared with the roughly 10% success rate of a U.S. wildcat driller. The oil found in the basin rivaled Alaska's northern slope. Let's say they had a good hair day. But it doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. Since their earlier discoveries, the major Russian oil companies have quickly drilled more than 310 ultra-deep wells and put them into production. Result? Russia recently overtook Saudi Arabia as the planet's largest oil producer. Maybe they're onto something. Though there were papers written on this earlier on, almost all were in Russian, and few made it to the West. And those that did were laughed at. No more. With Russia's rejection of the Exxon-Yukos deal, Putin did not want this technology and their abiotic oil experts exported to the West. In the access of information now available on the internet, the word has begun to spread rapidly to the West. Still hasn't taken hold yet. Why not? This is huge. Oil is not a fossil fuel, and it's renewable. Wow. Wow. I wonder if the government knows that. Oil is not, see, I'm pointing to my screen. It's not a fossil fuel. It's renewable. There are a couple of factors at play here. Big oil has a vested interest in pushing the idea that oil is scarce. Oh, didn't I say early on that Earth is constantly, continually occurring inside Earth? Okay, it's not scarce. The Earth is constantly making it. So let's read this. Okay, so they say big oil has a vested interest in pushing the idea that oil is scarce, hard to find, and thus costly to produce. So, how do you feel now about the gas prices you're paying? How you like them now? All of which, of course, means increased revenues and profits. This is a story in itself, but not primary focus here. More relevant to our story is the fact that a cornerstone of the environmental movement is this. Oil is a fossil fuel that is scarce and is limited and ever decreasing supply. That's a lie. Moreover, its production creates carbon dioxide, which we're all addicted to. Remember, we all binge on carbon dioxide? If you guys watched my last video. Therefore, its use for virtually all productive purposes, agriculture production, real estate construction, auto, truck, train, and air transportation, utilities, heating, cooling, communication, ad infinitum, all of them must be curtailed. According to the 30-year update of the book, The Limits of Growth, quotes, a prime example of a non-renewable resource is fossil fuels, whose limits should be obvious, although many people, including distinguished economists, are in denial over the elementary fact. More than 80% of year 2000 commercial energy use comes from non-renewable fossil fuels: oil, natural gas, and coal. The underground stocks of fossil fuels, are going continuously and inexorably down. So I guess that's what they want you to believe. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, we kind of get it. I'm just having trouble with keeping the camera up there. So what else do they have to say? Peak gas production will certainly occur in the next 50 years. Okay? So, if it's going to peak in the next 50 years, or what are they planning? To uncover more dinosaurs 50 years from now? Boy, once you see these guys in a lie, it's actually really funny. It is so funny. Because okay. So, peak gas production will certainly occur in the next 50 years. So obviously they know something we don't know. Okay? Get the camera up there. The peak oil for production will occur much sooner, probably within the decade. So they obviously know something we don't know. They're hiding something. Scary stuff, frightening, but as false as a hooker's smile. Okay, oil is not a fossil fuel, and it is renewable. All right, face it, you've been lied to again. Oh well, surprise, another lie. Okay, well, I have never been a fan of Putin DiMacho. DiMacho. Okay, the Russians have demonstrated. Oh, I hate those typos. Okay, have demonstrated the accuracy of their theory in the only place it counts, the oil field. Oil is not only abiotic. Let's see what abiotic. Ooh, got it. Boy, I've up to 20 minutes. Abiotic, physical rather than biological, not derived from living organisms. It continues to populate fields that were understood to be as dry as the petroleum as the desert wind. In fact, some scientists believe it is the centrifugal force of the planet's rotation that forces abiotic oil towards the planet's surface on a continuous basis. There are some things the general public does not need to know. This is a quote, by the way. There are some things, because I think we all need to know everything. There are some things the general public does not need to know, and shouldn't. I believe democracy flourishes when the government can take legitimate steps to keep its secrets. Ooh. And when the press can decide whether to print what it knows. The late Katharine Graham, owner of the, what guess, Washington Post. Alright, stay tuned for con number 2. Oh, I'm sorry, con number 3, global warming. And thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'm probably done for the day. I gotta head to the gardens, get out with nature. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Ta-ta. Peace out.